Why is it that Indra, the king of the Devas, who rules over Swarg, which is heaven, and is a god, is often the cause of problem because of his arrogance, hubris, and jealousy? It is because Lord Indra, though a Deva, or a divine being in Hindu mythology, is actually a position. He's sitting in the position of the king of Devas and the ruler of Swargalok, heaven, and this position changes in every cycle or yuga. Unlike the three perfect eternal gods, Ishwaras, Vishnu, Shiva and Brahma, and in the deeper context, Lord Indra actually represents the human ego. But before I tell you more about Indradev's human failing, let me tell you that it's because of Lord Indra and his having insulted sage Durvasa that the whole churning of the ocean of milk, the Samudra Manthan, came about. Durvasa was a great sage, renowned for his immense spiritual power and devotion, but equally famous for his short temper. He was considered as an incarnation of Lord Shiva and was known for cursing anyone who offended or disrespected him. Now, the sages of old, when they cursed someone, the curse came true. Despite his wrathful nature, Durvasa was highly respected by Devas, Asuras, mortals, everybody for his immense spiritual insight and his blessings, which if he would give someone, could actually change destinies. In the celestial realm of Swargaloka, heaven, Indra, the king of the Devas, after having defeated the Asuras, the demons, was feeling quite pleased with himself. He was in fact feeling quite proud of his achievements. His victories had made him a little bit overconfident, and he began to neglect the principles of humility and dharma, which is righteousness. And during that time, one day, sage Durvasa was walking through the heavenly gardens in Swargalok, and there he encountered a celestial Apsara, a beautiful divine celestial lady, who presented him with a divine garland of flowers. Now, this garland of flowers was not any ordinary garland. It was infused with the blessings of the goddess Lakshmi. And the goddess Lakshmi symbolizes fortune, prosperity, and auspiciousness. Durvasa recognized the garland's significance and decided to gift it to Indra as a mark of honor and respect. Sage Durvasa went to Indra, approached him with the garland and offered it as a token of goodwill and a blessing of prosperity. However, Indra at that time was in the throes of his pride and arrogance and showed little regard for the sage's gesture. He carelessly placed the garland on Airavata. Airavata is a celestial elephant, and instead of giving the garland the reverence and honor it deserved, he just placed it on Airavata's head. And Airavata, sensing Indra's indifference and perhaps also influenced by the carelessness of its master, threw the garland to the ground and trampled it underfoot. This act was not only an insult to sage Durvasa, but also to the divine blessings of goddess Lakshmi, who was very intrinsically associated with the garland. Already known for his quick temper, seeing this, Durvasa became very angry. He could see through Indra's arrogance and the lack of humility, and felt that it was a sign that the Devas had become complacent and forgetful of their dharma. Enraged, angry, Durvasa cursed Indra and the Devas. He said, "You and your Devas have grown arrogant and ungrateful, forgetting that your power and prosperity comes from divine blessings. From this moment on, may you lose all your strength, fortune and the favor of goddess Lakshmi. Without her, you shall be weak, vulnerable and powerless." The curse took immediate effect, and goddess Lakshmi departed. As the goddess of wealth, fortune and prosperity, Lakshmi withdrew her blessings from Indra and the Devas. Without her presence, the heavenly realms lost their luster and power. Stripped of their divine strength and vigor, the Devas became weak and vulnerable to attacks from their enemies, the Asuras, the demons, and Swarga. Heaven also diminished, losing its splendor and becoming devoid of the wealth and beauty and prosperity that it once had. With the Devas weakened, the Asuras, led by powerful leaders like Bali, seized the opportunity to attack Swarga. Without their usual strength and divine weapons, the Devas were defeated in battle, and the Asuras claimed dominion over the entire cosmos. Now, let me tell you here very quickly that the Asura king Bali is very different from Bali, the Vanara king of Ramayana. Bali, the Asura king, is also known as Mahabali. When he defeated the Devas, he was a powerful and benevolent king of the demons, and the grandson of Prahlada, the devotee of Lord Vishnu, and the son of Virochana. Whereas Bali, the Vanara king, who was also known as Vali, was a mighty king of the Vanaras, and he had a great role to play in the epic Ramayana. His elder brother was Sugriva, and Bali surprisingly, not surprisingly, it's a fact, had a close connection to Indra too, because he was Indra's son. I'm talking about the Bali of Ramayana. Okay, coming back to the Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean. Let's take a closer look at sage Durvasa's curse. It was not actually just an act of wrath. It served as a lesson in humility and balance. Indra and the Devas had become arrogant, forgetting that their power came not from themselves, but from divine blessings. The curse reminded them of the importance of gratitude and reverence towards higher power. By removing Lakshmi and weakening the Devas, the curse set the stage for the Samudra Manthan, a cosmic event that would restore balance and generate divine boons for the benefit of all beings. Even Durvasa's anger can be seen as an instrument of divine will, as it ultimately led to the reappearance of Lakshmi and the Amrit, restoring harmony in the universe. With Indra featuring so prominently, I think it makes sense to talk a little bit about why Indradev, the king of gods who rules Swargalok, heaven, displays human-like flaws such as arrogance, jealousy and impulsiveness, and also insecurity. Indra is often seen as a metaphor for the human ego and its struggles. Despite being a powerful deity, he embodies the weaknesses and vulnerabilities that mortals face, people like us, such as pride, envy, and fear of losing power. His actions and then the consequences of them serve as lessons in overcoming these flaws. Indra's pride often stems from his victories over Asuras, the demons, and his status as a ruler of Swarg, heaven. His arrogance reflects how success and power can blind one to humility and wisdom. And Indra frequently feels threatened by the rise of others, be it sages, kings, or other gods. This symbolizes the human fear of being replaced or overshadowed. His character is intentionally imperfect because he represents transient leadership. Indra's position as the king of gods is temporary and cyclical, often changing with the rise of new cosmic orders or yugas, ages. This clearly reflects the idea that worldly power is fleeting. And we also see that by acting on his flaws, Indra often creates situations that necessitate divine intervention, which helps restore balance in the universe. Indra's flaws make him relatable and serve as cautionary tales for us humans. Indra's flaws are not random but are often necessary to drive the story and the narrative forward. His mistakes or actions set the stage for larger cosmic events. Samudra Manthan, Govardhan Puja, and the birth of Vishnu's avatars, all caused by the failings of Lord Indra. Coming back to the events just after sage Durvasa's curse and the taking over of the cosmos by the Asuras, the demons. The Devas, now defeated by the Asuras, sought help and refuge and guidance from Lord Brahma, the creator. Brahma, recognizing the gravity of the situation, advised the Devas to seek the help of Lord Vishnu, the preserver and protector of the universe. When the Devas went to Lord Vishnu asking for his help, Lord Vishnu told the Devas that to regain their strength and prosperity, they would need to recover the blessings of Lakshmi, which were hidden within the depths of the Ksheer Sagar, the ocean of milk. Lord Vishnu then proposed the churning of the ocean, the Samudra Manthan, to extract the Amrit, the nectar of immortality, and other divine treasures, including goddess Lakshmi herself. Vishnu advised them to form an alliance with the Asuras to jointly churn the ocean of milk, Ksheer Sagara, to obtain Amrita, as the churning process required immense effort that could only be achieved through cooperation. Though the Asuras were their sworn enemies, the Devas had no choice but to comply. Lord Vishnu assured the Devas that despite the alliance, they alone would obtain the nectar. The churning of the ocean was a colossal task that required meticulous planning and selection of the correct tools. Mount Mandara, a massive and sacred mountain, was chosen as a churning rod. To serve as a churning rope, they selected Vasuki, the king of serpents, who resided around the neck of Lord Shiva. Vasuki agreed to participate after being promised a share of the nectar. The Devas and Asuras agreed to pull Vasuki alternately, ensuring the churning rod would rotate. Transporting Mount Mandara posed a significant challenge due to its immense size and weight. The Devas and Asuras uprooted Mandara and transported it to the ocean, but its size and weight caused them great difficulty. Many perished from exhaustion and accidents. Now seeing their plight, Lord Vishnu, mounted on his eagle vehicle, Garuda, revived the fallen and placed the mountain on Garuda's back, transporting it to the ocean. Its immense weight symbolized the strength required to undertake such a colossal task. Upon arrival at the ocean, Vasuki coiled himself around Mount Mandara, but a dispute arose over which end of the serpent each party would hold. Vishnu cleverly advised the Devas to let the Asuras hold Vasuki's head while the Devas held the tail. This was strategic, as Vasuki would emit venom from his mouth during the churning, weakening the Asuras. Vishnu then suggested to them all that the Devas hold the head and the Asuras the tail. However, the Asuras, considering the head more prestigious, insisted on holding it, leaving the tail to the Devas, and they were perfectly happy. The location of the churning was the Ksheer Sagar, or the ocean of milk, a vast cosmic body of water believed to be the primordial source of all life and creation. The Devas who participated in the Samudra Manthan were led by Lord Indra and included Vayu, the wind god, Agni, the fire god, Varuna, the god of water, Surya, the sun god, Chandra, the moon god, Kubera, the god of wealth, and Lord Vishnu, who orchestrated the entire process, appeared in various forms during the event. The Devas were motivated by the promise of regaining their lost power and immortality. The Asuras were led by powerful figures like Bali, the demon king, and Rahu and Ketu, who later played significant roles in the mythology of eclipses. The Asuras were equally motivated by the allure of immortality and sought to gain control of the Amrita for their dominance. The Devas and Asuras wrapped Vasuki around Mount Mandara and began pulling alternately. As they pulled Vasuki, the mountain began to rotate, creating the churning motion in the ocean. The churning created immense turbulence in the ocean, causing waves to rise and foam to form. Vasuki's movements generated friction and heat, and the venom from his mouth spread, creating a toxic environment. The ocean's waters turned dark and tumultuous. Many sea creatures and elements of the ocean were displaced or consumed in the process. The first product of the churning was Halahala, a deadly poison that threatened to destroy the universe. The Devas and Asuras panicked and turned to Lord Shiva for help. Shiva drank the poison to save the world, but Parvati, his consort, stopped it in his throat, turning his throat blue. And this is what earned him the nickname of Neelkantha. As the churning continued, several divine treasures emerged from the ocean, each with its own significance. Kamadhenu, the divine cow. This is the wish-granting cow, symbolizing prosperity, and was gifted to the sages for sacrificial purposes. Uchcheshravas, the celestial horse, a 7-headed horse, which was taken by Bali, the demon king. Airavata, the white elephant, the majestic elephant, which became Indra's mount. Kaustabmani, a radiant gem carried by Vishnu. Parijat tree, a heavenly tree, taken to Indra's garden. The Apsaras, celestial nymphs. These are divine maidens, including Rambha, who became entertainers in the celestial courts. Varuni, goddess of liquor, accepted by the Asuras. Dhanvantri, the divine physician, he emerged holding the pot of Amrita, the nectar of immortality. Lakshmi, goddess of wealth, Vishnu's consort, who chose Vishnu as her eternal companion. After the ocean was churned for thousands of years, the most awaited moment came when Dhanvantri, the divine physician, and an incarnation of Lord Vishnu emerged holding the pot of Amrit. Seeing the pot of Amrit, both the Devas and Asuras, having worked together to obtain it, were immediately consumed by greed and tension. The Asuras, being physically stronger and more aggressive, quickly seized the pot, intending to consume all the nectar themselves and achieve immortality. The Amrit was not something that existed independently, it was a byproduct of the cosmic churning, which involved the collaboration of divine and destructive forces. Many elements went into the Amrita, the nectar of immortality. The ocean of milk, symbolizing the primal boundless source of life and energy. The ocean contained the latent potential for immortality. Mount Mandara, used as a churning rod, this massive mountain represented stability and the axis around which the universe revolves. Vasuki, the serpent king. Vasuki served as a churning rope. His coils and immense strength symbolize the interplay of cosmic forces, both constructive and destructive. Devas and Asuras, the combined efforts of the Devas and Asuras to churn the ocean, symbolize the balance of opposites, good and evil, that was needed to unlock the secrets of existence. The act of churning brought together these cosmic elements to extract the most potent and divine substances from the ocean, with the Amrit being the pinnacle of these treasures. Meanwhile, seeing the Asuras had snatched away the Amrit, the Devas realized that they were outmatched and sought Lord Vishnu's help. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Lord Vishnu devised a plan to ensure the nectar would reach the Devas without the Asuras realizing they were being deceived. Vishnu then assumed the form of Mohini, an extraordinarily beautiful maiden with enchanting charm. This form was so mesmerizing that anyone who saw her would become captivated by her beauty and words. Mohini's divine appearance was not only beautiful, but radiated an aura of trustworthiness and grace. Her voice was soothing and her demeanor was humble and unthreatening, making it easy for her to win over the Asuras. Mohini appeared before the Asuras just as they were arguing amongst themselves who should be the first one to drink the nectar. Her arrival caused an immediate distraction. The Asuras stopped their quarrel and turned their attention to her. With a sweet and persuasive tone, Mohini addressed the Asuras saying, "O great Asuras, I am an impartial being, unaffiliated with either the Devas or the Asuras. I see you are in a predicament, unsure of how to distribute the nectar freely so that all of you can get immortality. Allow me to take this burden upon myself. I will ensure that the nectar is distributed justly and equitably so that no one is dissatisfied." The Asuras, though clever and cunning, were completely mesmerized by Mohini's beauty and demeanor. Several factors contributed to the decision to trust her. Her neutrality. Mohini claimed she was impartial and had no alliances with either the Devas or Asuras. Her appearance as an outsider gave her credibility. Her charm and distraction, Mohini's unparalleled beauty made the Asuras lose focus on the original goal. They became more interested in winning her favor than questioning her motives. And the conflict among themselves, the Asuras were already divided and suspicious of one another. Mohini's offer of taking control relieved them of the tension and responsibility of deciding how to divide the nectar. And lastly, the confidence in their own strength. The Asuras believed that if anything went wrong, they could easily overpower Mohini or the Devas and seize the nectar again. They underestimated Mohini's cunning. The Asuras handed over the pot of Amrita to Mohini, trusting her completely. Mohini, maintaining a serene and enchanting demeanor, began distributing the nectar. She arranged the Devas and Asuras in two separate lines and started pouring the nectar into the hands of the Devas first. Her actions were so graceful and methodical that the Asuras, still captivated by her beauty, did not suspect anything. They waited patiently, confident that their turn would come. As Mohini continued serving the Devas, she cleverly ensured that none of the nectar reached the Asuras. By the time the last drop of Amrita had been consumed by the Devas, the Asuras realized they had been tricked. Before they could react, Vishnu, in his original form, appeared to protect the Devas and assert control over the situation. The Devas, now strengthened and immortal, fought off the Asuras, who were left defeated and humiliated. One Asura, Rahu, suspected foul play and disguised himself as a Deva. He managed to sit among the Devas and drink a small amount of nectar. However, Surya, the sun god, and Chandra, the moon god, noticed his deception and alerted Vishnu. Vishnu, using his weapon, the Sudarshan Chakra, severed the head of Rahu before the nectar could pass into his body. Since Rahu had consumed a small amount, his head became immortal and joined the celestial beings as Rahu, the demon who causes eclipses in revenge against Surya, the sun, and Chandra, the moon. The nectar of immortality had restored the Devas' strength and supremacy, and order was re-established in the cosmos. The Devas regained their strength and immortality, re-establishing order in the cosmos. The Asuras are defeated and banished. The churning of the ocean became a symbol of the eternal struggle between good and evil, creation and destruction, and the pursuit of higher goals through effort and cooperation. So that was Samudra Manthan, one of the most fascinating and symbolic stories from Indian mythology. It appears primarily in the Bhagavata Purana, the Vishnu Purana, and the Mahabharata. The Samudra Manthan is not just a tale of gods and demons, but a profound allegory. It teaches us that great rewards require immense effort, cooperation, and sacrifice. It also highlights the balance between chaos, which is Asuras, and order, Devas, in sustaining the universe. The emergence of both poison and nectar symbolizes the duality of life, reminding us that challenges and blessings often go hand in hand. Do like, share, and subscribe to Mythical Lights for more amazing retellings from mythologies from around the world. We hope you enjoyed this amazing retelling of the Samudra Manthan. See you next time.